the greatest.
What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being. And today, guys, we're talking about the 3 biggest mistakes that I feel most beginners make. Now, if you're not a beginner, I still highly suggest you continue to watch this video because I feel like it's gonna be something that's beneficial to a lot of you as far as maybe figuring out things you could have done better, or maybe so you can help other people figure out things that they can be doing better if you have friends who are beginners, or things that can maybe help you answer as to, hey, why I've been training for this long, but I'm not quite where I expected that I would be. And if you're not sure if you're a beginner or not, then I'll have my video linked down in the description down below explaining how to discern if you're an actual beginner, intermediate, or advanced based off actual science and facts, not just this, oh, I've been looking for this long, so I assume I'm advanced or whatever. As well as I'll have linked down below the direct connection between strength and hypertrophy, as that's going to relate to a lot to today's topic. So getting right into it. Number 1 mistake, guys, that I feel a lot of beginners, if not most beginners, make when they first get into the gym is not building a solid base foundation. Now, within this one reason, there's several reasons for why this happens, like sub reasons you could say, but I'll try to keep it relatively simple as far as like, you know, what I mean by building foundation. So this mainly happens because beginners will come in, right? And they'll see people, whether it's like bodybuilders in magazines or on TV, or even just come to the gym and they see people. Let's say it's not some crazy roided up bodybuilder. Let's say it's like just a strong, aesthetic looking natural athlete, right? And they'll look at what they're doing and they'll assume, okay, to get where this guy is, I need to do what he's doing, with no thought whatsoever to, okay, this is what he's doing now currently, but what did he do to get here? And what I mean by that is, all right, so me as someone who's not a beginner, right? I do concurrent training. I use daily undulating periodization. I look at my frequency, my volume, my rate of progressive overload, everything like that, right? Why? Because I have to, because diminished returns. With each year that you lift, you get diminished returns. You put in all the work to get about half the results that you got the year before, right? So I have no choice but to do that. I have to train smart in order to make gains. Now, that's not to say the beginner shouldn't train smart, but the smartest thing that you can do as a beginner is get on a simple, straightforward, linear program, like linear progression, and focus on getting stronger. Like I said, I'll link down below the connection between strength and hypertrophy, and that's for everyone. You have to be getting stronger in some form or another. More reps, more volume, more weight. Progressive overload is the key to getting bigger or stronger as a natural athlete. You never can get away from that. But this is true especially for beginners. Like in the truest sense, the strongest connection you're gonna see between strength and hypertrophy is for beginners. People who are in their first year of lifting. Your focus needs to be on putting more weight on that bar. To get bigger, you have to get stronger. To get stronger, you have to get bigger. This is, I can't express how important this is for beginners. So you need to get on a simple program, whether it's 3 sets of 10, or a 5x5, whatever it is, or even if it's a program where you have like an A day where you're doing 3 sets of 10, a B day where you're doing 5x5, you're going back and forth. You need to just focus on progressive overload. Every time you get all 3 sets of 10, add weight to the bar next time, or all 5 sets of 5, add weight to the bar next time. By the smallest increment, just focus on building that base foundation and getting stronger, because you see so many beginners who come into the gym and they get focused on these bro splits and they get focused on all this volume, all this accessory work, and they're not building a base foundation, and they're wondering why they're not getting where they want to be, or why after a year of training they see some other people seem like they've gotten way further. Now granted, you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone else anyway, for the mere fact that 2 people can be on the same program and one person gets stronger at a faster rate, the other person may put muscle on a faster rate. But the fact is, when it's just this huge crazy gap, it kind of makes you question what's going on. Either my friend must be on drugs or I'm not doing something correctly. Like I said, you need to get focused on frequency and getting stronger. And this is why, even though I suggest full body really for anybody, especially for beginners. Why? Because you have the most optimum frequency. You're hitting each muscle group 3 to 4 times a week. You're hitting all those movements 3 to 4 times a week, just practicing the movements, getting stronger on them, letting your nervous system better adapt to the movements, which is gonna help you get stronger, and then just doing those movements more consistently. So that's the first thing, guys. Beginners get too caught up in looking at what intermediate advanced lifters are doing and think about just mimicking them instead of thinking about, okay, what did they do to get to this point? So that's the first thing. The second thing, guys, simply enough, is gonna be not eating enough. Now, understand this. If you first start lifting and you know you're overweight or obese, or just at an unhealthy body fat percentage, right? Yes, by all means, get in a deficit, do a cut. Still focus on getting stronger, because if you're actually overweight or obese, or even if you are a beginner, right, and say you're kind of skinny fat or whatever, and you're on a caloric deficit, even though yes, you'll burn fat, you'll still build muscle. You'll do a body recomposition, right? You're in a deficit, but you're not so much cutting, so much as your body recompositioning, because your body still has to get used to that progression, getting used to having weight on it. So you're gonna still build muscle while burning fat, especially if you're overweight or obese, for the mere fact that you have extra energy to pull on from, which is gonna be your fat storages, to build build that muscle. But for everybody else, let's say you're someone and you're just like at a normal healthy body fat, or you're a really skinny person, too many beginners get so focused on just wanting to be shredded. Like, look, it's real simple. If you cut down to like 10% or God forbid lower than that body fat, right? And I'm not talking about people who are getting ready for bodybuilding show, like just you're trying to cut to like 10% or lower, and you have no muscle mass there, you're just gonna look skinny and sickly. Facts. I'm not trying to offend anyone, and it's just the truth. You're gonna look skinny and sickly, and that's not healthy, guys. That's no healthier than being extremely obese. You need to focus on building, be in a surplus. And I don't mean a crazy like get fat surplus. And that's a video I'll probably do pretty soon, guys, a video on how to properly lean bulk, but just a nice steady surplus. Make sure you're eating enough, make sure you're in a nice surplus, you're hitting your macros, and just building that base, building that muscle, building that foundation. Do that, honestly, guys, for your first, at least I recommend, honestly, your first year to 3 years, just focus on building. And so long as you don't get too fat, you can just keep doing that. You can just keep building gradually, building some good muscle mass. If you don't put on a lot of fat, you won't have to necessarily do a crazy long cut, right? But even if you do get a little bit fluffier, you'll have time to cut later. There's plenty of time to cut down, right? But when you cut, you want to see what you've built. You want to see what you have to work with. You don't want to just look sickly and skinny, right? You don't want to just have your abs and ribs because that's it. That's all you have to show for is like some flat abs and ribs, right? You want to build up that foundation. So that's the second thing, guys. As beginners, make sure you're eating enough. Focus on building. You can work on the sculpting later. Focus on building right now, right? And the third thing, guys, and this one, honestly, even though it may not seem like it's probably the most detrimental, because let's look at it this way. With the first reason, even if you're as a beginner, because your body is so, receptive to training stimulus, even if you're on a crappy program and you're overcomplicating volume and all that kind of stuff, even if you're doing all that, you'll still make gains. Not optimally, but you'll still grow. And with the eating thing, right? Even if your diet's not perfect, once again, if you're a beginner, you can still make some gains. Like I say, even if you're on a deficit, you can still make gains. But the third thing, guys, that really I feel screws people the most is gonna be paralysis by analysis. Like the beginners who come in and they think about it so much, they overthink it so much to where they don't, did I say paralysis? If I said paralysis by analysis, I mean analysis. No, paralysis by analysis. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is they overthink it so much where they never get started. Or worse, they get started and they just think about it so much where it stresses themselves out and they quit. You guys have to understand that even for beginners who put on strength and muscle relatively quickly, it's still a waiting game. It takes time. It takes time to build muscle, to build strength, to build that foundation, guys. You have to understand that. You have to understand that regardless of how slow you may think it's going, it's only gonna get slower. And what I mean by that is if a beginner comes to me, right, or goes to someone who's really advanced and says, man, yeah, I've only been living for a few months and like my progress just seems so slow, we honestly wanna laugh. Not at you, but it's just funny because our progress is slow. For us to put on just a pound of muscle at this point takes so much time. Whereas for beginners, man, you can put a good 15, if you're training correctly and eat correctly, even 20 pounds of muscle in that first year. That is very realistic. Like most people put on the bulk of their foundational muscle in their first year. So it's gonna come, but it takes time. Don't be one of these people who get so caught up thinking about every little thing to where you never even start. Like you overwhelm yourself, you never even start, because it's better to just go for it and experience things through trial and error than to never try to begin with. And at the same time, don't be one of these people who you get started, you're doing well, but you feel like, man, I'm putting in all this work and it's taking such a long time. Yeah, dude, it takes a long time. Like, and not so much necessarily with cutting, like losing weight can take time, but at the end of the day, it's like you're just burning fat, right? It's just eating less and burning fat. But building muscle, guys, you have to think about that. You're building tissue that your body didn't have before. You got to keep that in mind. You're literally building muscle tissue that your body didn't have before. It's a timely process, but it is well worth it if you stick with it. But yeah, just wanted to address that, guys, because like I said, this channel is about helping people, and it's not just about me giving information to you guys and you guys like, just taking the information like, all right, cool, good info, and then going on. No, I want you guys to apply this to yourselves, and if you can, help others. Don't go forcing it down their throats. Don't Bible bash fitness, basically, right? But all I mean by that is like, if you have somebody who has a question, if you're able to answer it, I want you guys to be able to do that. I want this to be a community, a true community where we can talk, interact, and help one another, right? I don't know it all. You guys, some of you may be out there watching this, who may know something that I don't know, or maybe you can ask me a question about something, get clarity on something, or maybe, I may ask one of you guys a question about something. Like if I see something in the comments, I'm like, I never thought about that way. So, think about it that way, guys. So that's why I want to do this video. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below. Let me know that you did. If you did not enjoy it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to get better, other than, you know, interrupting what I'm saying because I can't remember paralysis by analysis or analysis by paralysis. I got that. I'm on it now. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.
I am the greatest.
Someone look color. Someone look color.